Building a radial dolly track. At the end of this video we'll have plans showing how this is done in detail. Our track is made up of PVC pipes, an outside track, an inside track with cross timber supporting it, and a dolly which will ride along these two tracks. Let's start by cutting out our cross ties. They're made by 2x2 treated pine. We're going to measure out our lengths of 3 feet 1 9/16 inches for our two cross ties. Let's see how that goes now. Alright, we have two of them cut out, same height. Next we'll cut out our longer cross ties, 5 feet 0 3/8 inches each. Two of those, and they will intersect our long pole, which is 8 feet long. We'll get the saw, cut our first one, and we cut our second one. Next we'll show how these tie together using a mortise joint and how they intersect. We'll cut our first line, move over the width of one of our 2x, cut our second line. We're only going halfway through the board. Smaller cuts, very close together, as you're seeing right now, will give you the ability to cut out the joint. If you measure, it'll be just the width of a 2x. We'll move over to the next joint on our 8-foot board and cut our next mortise. Width of the board, then lots of small cuts very close together. At one point, after cutting these small cuts, you can actually slide the blade along its edge from left to right and get the width of the board that you need. Alright, now we'll check our width. It fits. We're looking at this intersection of our 5 foot 0 3/8 inch board with our 8 foot long cross tie. Check them for square. They look great. Then we'll move on to the next part. Next we'll have to cut more mortise joints for our shorter boards. Cut one halfway through the board, cut another halfway through the board. Then a bunch of small fine cuts will allow you to take out the width of one of your 2x's. This is 2x2 treated pine. Once you get all of the small cuts made, you can actually slide the entire saw from left to right and take out the width of your 2x. And we check the width, and it fits also. We'll move on to our next cut. First cut, we'll slide over the width of the board. Second cut, halfway through our board. Now we'll make smaller cuts close together until we have cuts small enough that our blade will slide from left to right. On the very ends of our 3 foot 1 9/16 inch cross ties, we'll have to put a mortise joint also. Very small cuts until we get the material thin enough to slide our saw from left to right, giving us a clean cut. And then we'll check it for fit. Fits good. Move on to the next 3 feet 1 9/16 inch board. Cut the end, the width of a board, and make a bunch of smaller cuts until we're able to slide our saw from left to right, giving us the width of the board. Notice we never had to use a chisel or a plane. Check these fits. Interlocking looks great. This is what the near final product looks like. We're only lacking our 8-foot board to go across the entire piece. We will have to cut mortises in our 8-foot board and the existing boards that are sitting on the concrete. The arc length of the entire outside track is 9 feet 1 and 11/16 inches. We've marked where our 8-foot joint will have to go. First cut halfway through the board, second cut halfway through the board, and we will continue to make smaller cuts until we're able to slide our saw left and right and get the full width of our 2x. Notice that this is not 90 degrees to the existing board. Both boards will have to be cut so that the mortise fits in place. Now we finished those and put them together. We've also added a brace plywood in between. We've added our track, which has a 9 feet 1 and 11/16 inch outside length. We're going to take the wheels from skateboards, put a spacer in between. We have a 6-inch long, 1/2 inch PVC pipe. We're going to bolt it on one wheel. We drilled holes 90 degrees opposite of each other. Put our spacer in, place our second wheel on, place our nut, and other set of wheels, spacer, put it in the PVC pipe, place the nut on, get our other wheel 90 degrees to that one, spacer, and our nut. And we can check this and see that it rolls fine along the track. Remember, our dimensions will be at the end of this video. Now, for our outside dolly, we're using bigger PVC pipe here. Put our wheels 90 degrees to each other. Tie them down, tighten them very well. Flip it around, same thing to the other side. Next, we have to build the actual dolly, which is made, in this case, with a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inch boards. We made them 90 degrees apart. The distance along the arc that I'm showing here is 3 foot. It is also the distance between tracks. We have a 6-inch piece of PVC on one side, this showing here. We've also made this to where it would pivot right in the middle. This allows it to follow the inside track better. The outside does not pivot. It is locked in, and as you can see, it follows the track with little pressure and little weight involved. The back part of the dolly is curved to match the large track. The inside does not have to be curved because it pivots. For our first test, I'm going to be holding the camera in my hand, doing a handheld test, walking in an arc around our subject, attempting to be as smooth as possible, but with a walk, sometimes it just can't be done. Second test, we'll have a cart with the camera sitting on a pillow, as is sometimes done in some shoots. I will carry the cart pulled around the subject, staying aimed at the subject at all times. Here's the result of the cart. It's fairly smooth, the pillow helps a lot, but you still see some bumps as we hit uneven ground. With our dolly track complete and painted, this is our final outcome. I'll have my assistant Missy come forward and show you the ease of use. You do not need to touch the camera. Once it is set, it will stay aimed at the subject. Light movement of the tripod will move the entire dolly around the track, sliding back and forth. Very easy to use, staying focused. Thank you very much, Missy, my assistant, for helping us. I'm sure everyone out there appreciates it. Here is the footage. Sitting on the dolly track, rotating around the subject. Notice how the background sweeps. Just having your subject twist and turn will not give you the background sweep that you get with this dolly. I'm only touching the tripod. I do not have to touch the camera at all, and all movement stays in the direction of the subject. Thank you very much, Missy. Smooth, easy rotation on any ground. Now we have our plans. You may want to pause this at any moment so that you can look at these plans in more detail. That concludes our video. Thank you very much.